How does a bastard, orphan, son of a whore and a Scotsman become a monkey? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Vivo. This is an animated Sony movie that was put onto Netflix, and it's a movie I never hear anybody talking about, like at all. And unfortunately, I think that's because Netflix. Unfortunately, unless it's something like Stranger Things or something massive like that, Netflix movies and shows don't often get as much attention in the like very public eye. You know what I mean? And this is definitely one of those cases, I feel. And the interesting thing about this movie is I believe it both stars and features the music of Lin-Manuel Miranda. You know, the same guy behind In the Heights and Hamilton. The same guy who did the music for Moana. That Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's like, he's a massive name. Ever since Hamilton blew up, he's been huge. And people love his music in Moana. It's amazing. And so now he made this other movie, Vivo, and I don't really know what this is about. I've seen it on Netflix while scrolling through here and there. And I've seen, like, okay, there's this monkey, there's this old guy. I think the monkey is, like, the pet of. It has some, really unique and interesting character designs. I don't know what the actual plot is at all, though. But I'm curious, because, again, it's something I've seen a lot of, and I've never heard anyone talk about. But the connection with Lin-Manuel Miranda is exciting to me. And that makes me curious to see what this is about. And by the way, before we continue, this is a donation reward, obviously, as most movies are on the channel, specifically for Venom. Again, as most tend to be. So thank you, as always, to Venom for this. And yeah, it's one that ever since it first came out, I think a couple years back, I've kind of wanted to check out. I've kind of been vaguely interested in. But again, I haven't heard anything about it, like in terms of plot or anything. So it hasn't been like top of my list because I just don't know anything about it. And the visuals I've seen have not been anything that's like really hooked me in, really like just gripped me and made me want to see more. So we're finally going to get to it, though. And yeah, I'm hoping to really enjoy this one. If Lin-Manuel Miranda's other works are any sign, then I have a lot to look forward to here. Also, a lot of Lin-Manuel Miranda's works also feature very prominent Hispanic themes and cultural impacts and stuff. Obviously, Moana was more Pacific Islander, but still. A lot of his works touch on these kind of themes and cultures, and I really like that. In fact, I think pretty much everything he's done has. Because it's even featured in Hamilton, because, Hamilton was an immigrant and everything. So yeah, I think it's in pretty much everything. Obviously, In the Heights focuses a lot on it. It's a major part of the story. But yeah, I'm excited to see if that kind of stuff is included in here too. This is going to be an interesting ride, and I'm really hoping it ends up on the positive side of things. But as always, we have a lot on this channel to look forward to. If you're new to the channel, just found it through this reaction, or found it recently through any other means, we have 2 show reactions every day, Monday through Friday. On Mondays, we also do a reaction to YouTube videos that have been requested as part of our donation reward system. Currently on Wednesdays, we have been streaming through Momodora Moonlit Farewell for our gaming content. And pretty soon we're going to be starting some PS5 content. So things are going to be taking a little bit of a step up in that regard. Every Saturday and Sunday, we also do movie reactions. This is one of those, obviously, though I do pre-record them earlier in the week. So there's a lot to look forward to on the channel. There's always something for everyone, even for the dogs. There's always something for everyone. And the schedule and what we're reacting to shifts and changes and moves around every so often, keeping you on your toes and keeping things from getting too stale. So there's always going to be something. But that being said, we're going to get into this and hope for the best. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So, that all being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I looked it up, and yeah, this movie actually did really well. It was received, like, very well. Not, like, the most positively received animated movie of the recent years and everything, but still was really well received. People really loved it, which is great to see. And like I said in the pre-thoughts, I had no idea what people thought of this because I had heard no one talking about this, which is wild to me. Especially because it is a Lin-Manuel Miranda movie. Like, starring, the music, even executive producing. It's like, no one was talking about this, like, at all? Really? And it has to be because of Netflix. But it's also interesting to me that the first movie we did this week was one that I was not as big a fan of. And the second one is something I'm blown away by. I mean, it made me cry multiple times. At least 3. Though I wasn't really counting and keeping track, but yeah, it's like this was absolutely phenomenal. And I kind of said in the pre-thoughts, like, I was really hoping that would be the case, considering it is Lin-Manuel Miranda, and it's like pretty much everything with his signature on it I've loved, or at the very least really enjoyed. In the Heights, I was not as into personally as like Hamilton or Moana, but I still really enjoyed it. And I mean, I've actually grown to enjoy it even more in the years since, especially knowing some of the actors in it now. And some of them being in Hazbin Hotel also, you know, helps. But yeah. This movie, like, surprised me on a few levels, because there were a few things I was not expecting. Like, Andreas dying, like, 20 minutes in is, like, just... I had no idea, because here's the thing. I did not know about this little girl at all. In everything I had seen of this movie, all, like, the still images and a couple, like, short clips here and there, everything had been Vivo and Andreas. I legitimately thought that it was about these two. I did not even know about this girl. It's like, okay, hi, this is new. and don't get me wrong, I'm not by any means, like, upset at this change. Though, I mean, Andreas' death did upset me, but you know what I mean. Because here's the thing. I feel there's a lot of people who would find Gabby really annoying. And who would be off-put by her. Her just insane amounts of energy, her attitude and everything, her kind of devil-may-care actions that she takes. But it's like, I've known people like this. I've had friends who are like this. And while I myself am nothing like this, um, I value people who are, because for me, it almost kind of feels like they're filling in a gap that I'm missing. I'm not high energy. I'm not like super excitable and loud and wild. I talked about this plenty of times on this channel, talking about how like my reactions aren't like a lot of other reactors. You watch a lot of other reactors and they'll like be screaming and yelling and have big wild reactions. And occasionally I'll have something that's a little bigger than normal, a little something that's more emotional or whatnot. Whether it be, crying or anger or, excitement. I've had some big reactions occasionally, but unlike a lot of other reactors, I'm not like that all the time. And it takes a lot for me to get to that point. So, people who are a lot more high energy and a lot more like this, it kind of feels good to be around them. And even to see them in media, because it always feels like they brighten the mood, they cheer things up, they just, again, they kind of fill what I'm missing, and a lot of times just bring me happiness, whether it's a fictional character or a real life person. Like, if you've watched this channel for a long time, you know there's a lot of characters I absolutely adore who are like this, like Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony. Characters who are loud or wild, like Yang Xiaolong from Ruby, who are very brash and intense and emotionally driven. These kinds of characters appeal to me. And don't get me wrong, I like characters who are more shy and quiet and everything as well, characters who are like me, because I connect to those characters very well. But again, it's sometimes it just feels good to see characters who have that other side and are able to just bring joy, like, despite that. And on top of it, I really like her attitude and personality. She's fucking weird. She is absolutely fucking weird. And she owns it. There are so many people who are weird and get very self-conscious about it. I've been there myself. I love it when people are just really fucking out there and own it. They're proud to be weird. They're proud to be goofy and strange and high energy and excitable. And we see in the movie that she's like this because her father was like this and he fostered that in her, very clearly as shown through the photos of them goofing off together. And she has continued to be this way because it's what she likes to do and it makes her feel like he's still there with her. And I talked about in the movie at that part near the end where she was talking about her father and everything and the connection there with Vivo and all. I mentioned how I've lost family. I've lost an uncle. I've lost my grandfather. I've lost my great aunt. I've lost multiple family members who I cared for greatly and whose deaths really messed me up. In fact, I think we're just a few days removed, as of when I'm recording this, from from the anniversary of my grandfather's passing. Um, I saw that on Facebook Memories actually, and it's like it was this time of year, and it's really sad. It's really depressing to think about. But there's ways to carry on their lives and legacies, and part of that is just being there and being around and being who you are, spreading your joy and positivity and embracing your passions in your life. Loved ones who have passed on would love to see you doing that. At least they should. um, and this is a movie that's just as much about the grief of losing your family, the grief of deaths of those close to you, as much as it is about music and Cuban culture and connections between friends. All of these are themes of this movie, and all of them are important. And we see how a lot of these relationships evolve throughout the movie. Between Gabby and Vivo, between Gabby, Vivo, and the Sanddollar girls. Even Gabby and her mother have a little bit of a story arc there. Everything evolves because people evolve. People grow and change and go through shit. And relationships will do the same. And I love to see that. The music was obviously top notch in this, but I actually want to talk more about the animation. Because the animation was great as it is in 3D. It looked amazing. The designs of the characters and the animals were fantastic. But there's certain moments in the movie where it kind of goes into more of a 2D style to showcase like these emotional memory or like mindscape scenes, I guess you could say. And they're just so gorgeously animated and drawn. It's like just, my God. The color work in this was fantastic. All the voice actors were great. They got a really fantastic cast that really just represents the culture. Like Gloria Estefan, I believe, is Cuban. So getting her for this was just such a like perfect casting decision for Marta. And this girl who voiced Abby did a fantastic job, both in the voicing and the singing and everything. She did great. She really sold the personality and made this feel like this young girl with all this energy, needing an outlet and friends to kind of channel that through and for. And none of the characters felt like bad guys. There wasn't really an antagonist in this outside of, other animals like the dog and the snake. Like, there wasn't like a big bad, per se. Those were just like, oh, animals being animals. The snake wanted to eat. The dog wanted to eat. They were just animals. But then you have like no real antagonist. The closest thing would be the Sandollar girls, but they were just like, so like in tune with following the rules, and even they like were clearly going to become Gabby's friends at the end. Like, that was obvious. And yeah, it was more about other stuff and not really needing any kind of actual villain or anything. A lot of people aren't happy that a lot of modern animated films have moved away from having like straight up villains in them. Like, we don't have the Jafars or the Hades. And I know I'm using Disney references, but it's the easiest to go to. Or the Gastons of the past. The Ursulas. Everyone loves Ursula. Gotta include her. We don't have villains like that in modern movies, modern animated movies. Unless it's like a superhero movie like Spider-Verse. And even then, it's a lot more, like, nuanced. That's the word I was trying to think of. It's a lot more nuanced. Because, like, in the second Spider-Verse, Miguel is definitely the antagonist, but he's not a bad guy. He's genuinely trying to do what he thinks is right. He's just doing the wrong things in service of that. And in the first movie, it's like even Kingpin. It's like he's just trying to get his family back. Like, obviously, he's doing bad things and going about it the wrong way. I mean, he murdered the original Spider-Man in Miles' universe, but he just he's hurt. He's in pain. He wants his wife and child back. It doesn't make what their actions right, but they're more nuanced. They're not just evil. And a lot of modern animated films have gone away from having villains altogether. Turning Red and Encanto are great examples. Neither of those movies have a villain. Like, they have quote unquote antagonistic forces, but no actual villain and no one who's actually bad. The antagonists of both are just, traumatized. The grandma, the abuela from Encanto, and Mei Mei's mother in Turning Red are both traumatized from events of the past and things that happened around their families, and they just kind of continued to spread that to the next generations. And it's wrong and it's bad, but they're not bad people. And I like that this movie didn't really have that either. Again, except the animals, but again, the snake, the dog, it's like they're just animals being animals. It's like that's just what a dog and a snake would do in these situations. It's like they're looking for food, they're hunting for their prey. It's like, yeah, there's no actual villain because those are just animals being animals. So, yeah. Um, I really like that that's a thing nowadays. Yeah, this movie was just absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed it from every angle. I'm definitely going to be watching again. I'm going to see if anyone did do any reactions to this. Because or at least reviews. I definitely want to hear what other people think of it. Um, it might even be something I end up showing to my sister at some point. Not anytime soon because she's leaving for Japan today. She and her friends are going on vacation to Japan. Lucky. But yeah, as of the day I'm recording this, mind you, you're seeing this on Sunday. I'm recording it on Friday. So by the time you're seeing this, they'll already be in Japan. But still, you get the point. I'm very excited to see more movies like this, hopefully. Movies that just really hit me in the exact right way. And yeah, like that's why I love this donation reward system we have on the channel so much, because you guys get to suggest movies for me that I may have never seen otherwise. I don't know if I ever would have gotten around to seeing this. I kept putting it off and everything because of the reasons I mentioned in the pre-thoughts. Just, it being nowhere near the top of my list and other things just kind of like taking priority for me to check out. So now I finally got to see it and I'm so happy I did. It's just so great. But we have plenty of other stuff that is great on the channel. We do 2 series reactions every day of the week, Monday through Friday. On Mondays, we also react to YouTube videos that you guys have sent in as donation rewards. I, on Wednesdays, do some gaming content. Right now, we have been live streaming Momodora Moonlit Farewell, but that is near the end, and pretty soon we're going to be starting on PS5 stuff, which might be going into some other days. I don't know. It just depends on how I want to do it. But every Saturday and Sunday, just as you're seeing today, we do movie reactions. Movies are most of the time donation rewards from you guys as well. But occasionally I'll sneak a movie that I just kind of really want to see and don't want to wait for in there as well. And then there's various other things from occasion, AMVs, countdown videos, and so on and so forth. But I would love to hear what you think of Vivo in the comments below. Please leave your thoughts, and thank you once again to Venom for donating for this, and thank you to all of you for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.